started. We have ordinances. We have 1823. That's at its third reading. Max, I wasn't sure, but ordinance 2023, the curb cuts, that can go 3 readings or not?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the bids in Roscoe, the sidewalk bids?
I mean, if we have enough, we can pass it. That way I can get going on it, because they gotta be put in the paper for several times, and I can get contractors, and I'd really like to get that done before apple butter start. If I can.
So we'll have to have 3 readings of that tonight. So I'll need a motion to suspend the rules. The variance in Roscoe, American, that tickets.
Do we just need do we need an ordinance on that, or do we just? need
Yeah, you said we needed one last meeting.
Yeah, it's an ordinance to approve the planning commission. We have that ordinance ready, right?
Yeah, it's,
It can run its course.
yeah, however, yeah, it's fine. It's,
Let it run its course.
Yeah, I talked to the owner. I told him he didn't need to come tonight. I don't think there's any opposition to it.
Okay.
You have the votes. I'm sure he'd
Yeah.
probably like to get started, even though he's still trying to pass things with Mid-East, but
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that tonight. That's 2023, be 3 readings,
It's 22.
So you're
or
gonna pass,
22, 23,
you're gonna pass that tonight.
correct.
Okay.
And I assume the Warsaw water line,
With Corps of Engineers, yes, we should pass that tonight.
okay,
So they're all
1223,
So 2023 is chapter 917.
well, the curb cuts can run its course.
Okay. So 21, 22, 23 are all passing tonight.
Correct. Mayor, did you follow up on that on 5th and Locust? I drove by there several times. The lady who come in for the parking. There's open parking on the other side of the street, right across from that house.
usually when I drive down by, there's no parking. I'll keep an eye on the look. I haven't
Okay.
really been looking at it too close.
I left when the last meeting I drove by, there were parking. And I've driven by there like 5 times, and it's not always right in front of their house, but there is.
I know there's
Available.
rentals, so I don't know if the rentals are vacant, or I'll look more into it.
Okay,
I'll
Can they
keep
park
an
in
eye
the graveled area between the street and the tracks?
I mean, I noticed someone has been doing
Is that
that.
railroad property or is
That's
that-
railroad property, yeah. All that's a railroad right away.
And there is a car that's parking without the handicap placard down by the handicap sign on 5th Street. So I don't know if we should cite them or warn them or what, but,
Ain't no need to warn them, I'll just say.
all right. There you go. I like that.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're there about every day.
all right, so we'll start bombarding our deputy. Any other ordinances? I know Sherry will probably have appropriations and transfers for the next one.
We'll have, I'll probably have a revised tree commission ordinance. Not much is changing on that. Just some more specific on cost if we have to intervene trees near public right away. Right now, it's like 15 days, 60 days. I'm gonna clean it all up. It's gonna be 30 days. And then basically it will be whatever the contracted charge will be plus 50%. Right now, it just says it will be charged and it will be put on your tax bill. That way it's specific, there's no specific charge, and that will be a specific charge. Me and Bob will work on that this week. Everything else is gonna stay the same in that ordinance, except spelling the charge out and then changing the days and just make it all uniform.
So who's sending the letters out? Are we When we talked about that last time.
Yeah, who deems a tree needs to be cut? Is that tree commission?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, and the letter it will go from the tree commission to
The
the,
resident.
right, it says it right, that's how it states in the ordinance.
I know, I think you talked about changing that, so.
Any other ordinances, Max?
We may have, there's a couple properties that have come up for sale right around the firehouse area. That the chief's interested in for part of our training facility. We're just in discussion right now with that, so we may be looking to, for an ordinance to give you the permission to purchase some property. We'll see where that goes.
Anything else?
yes,
Hold on, Max, anything else?
I don't have anything.
Save you for last.
Okay, that's fine. As we've talked before, the county commissioners run the CDD block development grant program here in the county. They can have 3 active projects at one time. There's one already active in West Lafayette, and they had 2 openings. And they selected the electrical upgrade for the wastewater project as one of those to apply for funding. That could be up to about 500,000 with the grant administrator getting about 5% of that. So we'll have an ordinance at the next meeting authorizing Max to sign all the necessary documents to continue that process. So that's good news for us. And they have a high degree of probability of getting funded. That'll give us about $500,000 to upgrade the motor control centers as a wastewater plant.
Which needs a drastic.
And what's the total project? 800?
Yeah, about 750,000 is the total project. We're looking at the mid-year, late year, when they do the OPWC funding, ask for some zero
What's that
interest.
stand for?
Ohio Public Works Commission,
Thanks.
OWA, Ohio Water Development Authority.
We live in a world of acronyms. so-
Yes, we do. Whenever we use one, you don't, yeah.
Yeah,
So that'll be on the agenda, but again, thanks to the commissioners. I think they had 6 projects. And they picked ours as one of those to go forward with funding.
that's what you've been asking about, right? And informing us about,
Yeah,
yeah.
One of them.
One of the many, yeah.
Yeah.
one of the many.
That's a critical one. I mean, if you
Right.
don't have electricity, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now the one for the water plant, they didn't fund, but the wastewater, they asked me to rank the 2. The wastewater is in more critical need than the well field right now, so we're working on that as well, but that's a good step.
So that's one that can go from a high priority on your list if that comes through then, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hold on, what about your, the truck that you were talking about?
$40,000 fix.
Oh, the back truck.
Oh, the jet truck.
Yeah,
It
we
is,
don't have anything on that, and I thought we we're gonna have something on.
working with Sherry, she's looking at either appropriations or, transfers. And we added to that in the email that I copied you about, we need to replace the roof on the wastewater plant. We'll have that on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay.
That'll be part of her transfer / appropriations that she'll have. But that estimate, based what I got then, was pretty close, about 50,000 to repair. And we got about 40,000 in lease costs. But to put that in perspective, new truck's $700,000, and that
Yeah.
truck's about 10 years old, Max, is my understanding. It'll
Yeah,
give us
you
another
told us
10.
last time, I just wondered because it wasn't on the
Right.
agenda or anything, so I was just wondering where that was.
Yeah, well, yeah, when I talked
Where
to
we were.
Sherry, and I said, yeah, with adding, we want to make sure we was aware that we're gonna add, the last 2 windstorms have blown shingles off of the, building at West Lafayette. They're just dry rotted, they're of the age that we're gonna do a tear off and put a metal roof on that. So we're gonna add that to that funding request. That'll come out of the West Lafayette budget money.
That's the money we took over when we took the project over, so there's plenty of money there for a little.
Anything else?
That's it.
That's enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other ordinances? Council members, you guys have anything ordinance wise? Since we're here, I don't know if this is under ordinance, but, Mayor, how does the building permits work if, like, for someone to go check on someone, if somebody calls in and say, hey, so-and-so doesn't have a building permit?
You're talking about commercial
If
or
somebody-
residential?
Well, Shaw's Corner, he said that, he's had people in there 4 or 5 times, basically stopping from putting up drywall and taking out trash. And whenever they go in, they tell him to stop until they're able to get in
submit
there.
plans, like, well, so the building permit, and there was a lot of hubbub on, they heard this at the beauty shop, and I've heard a million different, they called on me and like,
He came to me and asked me, and I told him I would ask.
so how it works is Mideast is basically, they drive around. So a lot of times, no one at all calls, the building department. The building department's driving around doing their job. So I think in that case, what had happened was they were driving and he saw they were working, and they went in and said, what are you doing? Where's your plans? And that's why a lot of times when we say, if you want to start something or do something, start here. I want to remind people, anyone who's starting something or redoing something, at any point, they can stop and ask you what's going on. If you didn't come here first and you have no plan submittal, they can stop work. So I think what happened was then they went down and followed up, and they were working. Don't know what kind of conversation that they had with the people working in there. Another thing that is additional to building, the building process on commercial buildings, there, if you're going to put a bar or sell alcohol, restaurant, anything to do with liquor, has its own set of rules on plan approval. So really, if someone wants to go out and start a bar, they definitely need to reach out to the Department of Commerce for their building standards as well. But a lot of times things are, and they just drive around, they see work going on, they stop and say, what are you doing? And by law, that's their job. So I know Jason well, he's here on Wednesdays. If anyone has questions, we can definitely help connect that building department and anyone doing work. And we want to, and Jason wants to make it easy as possible to fix anything. So, you know, if there are any issues, they can come and stop in my office. But the situation, from what I've heard, it got so convoluted and twisted by, they said this and they said this and they turned us in.
They started in that with me, and I just
It
said,
was-
look, I'll ask.
Right,
And
from what I
get an
know,
answer.
right, there was no initial conversation with them. And I think it was just, they happened to be driving down Main Street and said, hey, they're working in there.
For whatever
So-
reason, he told me that they felt that
Right.
they're being targeted.
Yeah, but I don't, and
Said,
after
I don't
talk,
know.
and I had a personal conversation with Jason Hoffman, the building inspector from Mideast, and there was nothing such that happened.
But he hasn't been out of compliance yet, has he? As far as with the drywall and stuff like that?
No, I don't think if you're not changing, I don't think if you're not changing floor plan, if you're not changing
Right.
mechanical, electrical, I don't think there's any issues
Yeah.
with that. But once you start changing floor
Right.
plan, plumbing,
they need to get up
electrical,
there and make sure they
then you
get
need
their-
to, yeah, and I think they did. I
Yeah.
think everyone's
Oh,
talked to them.
The hood, you'll have a hood there for frying.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I understand all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I think he does too.
I talked to Tanner yesterday, he seemed to be fine yesterday out the dealer, so,
Yeah.
or if you talked to him today, I mean, yesterday seemed fine.
I just, it was, I got stopped, questioned. I said, we have a council meeting on Monday. I'll ask.
That's why we recommend here lately, which it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened here
Right.
that haven't happened in the past, you know, with the zoning, with the
Right.
variance, like, before you do anything,
We say it every meeting. The last
Come here.
5 meetings
yeah,
you've said it.
come
so.
here and
Yeah.
talk to us and we'll get you started. No one here or with the building department is out to get
Yeah.
anyone.
So last question
That's-
on that.
Okay.
Have they submitted their plans yet?
I don't know. I know they have talked to Mideast. I know the conversations have been had, so
We've
I'm
had
not sure
conversation,
where.
plans have to be
Yeah,
submitted.
I'm not sure where they're at on the process.
I'm good.
They know where they're at on the process because they've talked to
Okay,
Mideast.
Gotcha, appreciate it.
Yeah, and once again, that's all I recommend. Before you do anything, stop here so we can make
Yeah.
sure,
Even people doing roofs,
yeah,
people out of town that
Right.
come in and
Right.
hire people, they need Mideast
Right.
too. Okay, Sherry's not here. Anything on housing and maintenance? No good?
Well, I would just like to say it's summer. You know, Mark's always saying this, people are mowing their grass and they're blowing the grass out into the road, and it's a fine. It's a fine. You cannot do that. Blow it back up into your yard, and I just kind of want to refresh everybody.
and it's not that Chad just wants to tell people that.
Right.
It clogs the storm gutters.
Yes, it
It
does.
wrecks motorcycles. Actually, we were out the other day and Deputy Schrock said, like,
Yeah.
we were actually at another address and then we went, the neighbors were mowing and he said, don't do that. So, yes. And remind them to mow first, just don't blow it out on the street, right?
Not very big building.
And the old Edmont building,
Yeah, theirs is real high.
Yeah,
yes.
hold on, we'll get to Deputy Schrock.
Get them
We'll
hard, girl.
drill him in a second.
Yeah, right. Jim's not here, and I know most of you already know he has some family issues, emergencies that he has to deal with tonight, so he's not gonna be here. Oh, the park's coming along. They look pretty nice, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they get those ruts fixed in the whole park.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
I walked by there last night.
That's
It
nice.
looks really nice.
Yeah, that's good.
What about the fence at
Okay.
KA? They get that fixed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
good.
Bancroft looks really nice.
Yes.
I think that's really nice and neat
Mulch.
looking.
I'm telling you, that place
They did a
is,
nice job up there.
Always.
Always.
you must have, that neighborhood must have a lot of kids in it, because there's
They
a
do,
lot of
they do. And
kids.
it's, and you know, it's well respected as being for little ones too.
Yeah,
I have noticed that. I watch it and
Mhm.
mostly just, you know, little ones on that.
because most of the clientele at the Heimball lot are older kids.
Mhm.
So, but it's nice, when I drive by there, see all those kids, they enjoy everything there, so those guys are doing a good job. Anything from Port Authority, Mr. Barcroft?
Yes, sir. That's my normal question. Any progress on the theater? The grants that she got won't affect the theater part. Any way SPP can help us through Balderson or Vance or somebody to try to get monies to
Finish it.
develop
Yeah,
that?
yeah, well, we've been talking in the Appalachian grant meetings, like along with the downtown rebate, there's a possibility of getting funding for that, so.
Is that like in the phase two? Part of
yeah,
the
it
planning
would
with
be-
that?
Yeah,
That's
it would be,
phase-
yeah, it'd be the second round. We have talked about putting that in there,
Sooner that's,
as long as you
Get
pay
fixed up, the
the
better.
heat bill on it, we'll get that in there, yeah.
that's
No, it
been a
is, it
boom
is being
downtown.
talked
You know, the
about.
concerts help during the
Oh, I'm
summer, but
telling you, that place would make a big
yeah,
difference
we
downtown
do
for
12
us.
months, yeah. So I think it should be a top priority. I've been saying that for 3 years, but. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor.
All right, well, I talked a little bit about the tree ordinance and I'll send that out once I get it done. Met with the tree commission, everything went fine. There's plenty of work to do on existing trees that need to come down and be identified, which is something tree commission's great at doing. They're going after a grant to do another tree study, a tree inventory. So just like I said, we're gonna tweak that ordinance and I'll send that out
Okay.
probably end of the week.
Speaking of trees, who's responsible for the trees laying on the wires along Cambridge Road, as you're going up Cambridge Road? Laying on all those lines up, yeah, up the hill. in those wooded areas? I mean, there's
I'm not
trees laying
sure.
all over it. Some of those lines are like 5 feet off the ground.
That would probably be a cable lines.
It'd be the utilities
It'd be
responsibility.
the utilities, yeah. You're talking like when you go up the hill and off Buena Vista's down
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
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 Right there. Yeah,
I mean,
it's a utility.
Okay.
Actually, I think I saw one not too long ago right there. Today we had a meeting with Senator Brown's legislative aide, took him out to Warsaw. Actually, it was the first time I've been to Warsaw and looked at their water treatment facility. They do a lot with very little. Saw the need of, we have I don't know what, it's basically an earmark. They're not called earmarks anymore. They're called community appropriations or community spending program or something. Basically, they're earmarks. We have 3 million written in for that project in the federal budget. So I'm sure when we'll find out. I think it went to committee. So we're just showing him more detailed what the project's about, who it serves, how it serves the school and their community, and just the specifics on what the need is for. So it was a good trip. It's nice and cold today. And want to mention with the parks, we had a altercation at Heimball Park this past week. Whether it be a child, a minor, or an adult, I have zero tolerance for any criminal activity on any city property. And whoever is involved will be trespassed permanently from city property. So had a community resident say that I can't do that, but I think my law director says I can. So if you don't act up or act out, you got no issues. But as soon as it happens, we have some very good footage of what happened. And you just won't be allowed to enjoy the parks because there's no need for anyone to act that way.
So that would be all city parks, not just the
Yeah,
Heimball
that
one?
would be all city parks. Yeah, because I'm not gonna move the problem to the
Right,
next. park.
exactly.
Yep, it's just done. I'm done with that. Just want to remind people, clean up their properties. We've been towing cars and junk. If you have, junk on your porch, junk in your side yard, junk in your backyard. If your house doesn't look like your neighbor's house and their neighbor's house, then your house probably needs some attention. We have a hazmat training with G&W Railroad on June 8th. If anyone were to be interested in that, there will be classroom training. It's for all first responders. It will be, classroom will be at the fire station. And then they bring in a locomotive, and then they bring in a car with basically every valve and every switch and anything just to educate first responders. Actually, it's some that I reached out to Genesee, Wyoming, right after East Palestine, just to say, hey, let's see what this looks like if anything were ever to happen here. And so
I think
they
we
set
asked, well,
that
we
up.
asked Rusty, but do the trains, those tankers, do they have to disclose what's in those when they come through our community?
I
There's
mean,
placards on them, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's placards, but there's,
We'll tell you
but I don't,
Car hazard free.
But I'm saying, if they're
They
hauling
let us
those
know.
through our community, we don't see them though till they're going through our community. Do they have to notify the communities that they're bringing it through?
Ahead of time, no,
No.
not my understanding.
No, I don't think so.
I never had anything out there.
I also asked Rusty about the.
Yeah, you asked that
Yeah,
question,
I
didn't you?
did, and then I asked about evacuation. He said they're gonna evacuate with a radius of 1 mile. Now, if you're talking 1 mile, you're talking almost the city of Coshocton.
Yeah.
I mean, is there some kind of a contingency plan in place
well,
or something like that?
well, and
Or is
that's
that what this is?
part of this training will have, person in charge, kind of what, if something were to happen, who takes charge of the scene. There's all kinds of things that, media. There are a lot of different areas, and that's why I want to, first, this is really focused on first responders and how the locomotives work, how to shut them off, valves to containment,
okay.
but it also has, I think, some properties of what happens next or who's in charge, like I think from start to finish, it's a good course to kind of just educate on, if this happens, here's what's gonna happen. We're just not gonna let it happen.
What was the date?
in
What's the
Coshocton.
date?
June 8th. And I can send you a flyer on it. I'll email you a flyer.
We do that, we'll make it available on council.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. And recently there was a situation, homeless in the art park. Working on not only the homeless situation in the art park, but the homeless situation within our city. A lot of times people don't know where to reach out to, or people just don't want to reach out anywhere. And that's the life they live. And that's, it's hard to help someone that then want to help themselves. So it's something that I've been working on. It's definitely, working with organizations, working with All Well, NoHoCo, Salvation Army. There are places that can help, but really, working on a permanent solution is, I don't know if there's any permanence to it. So it's, I'm doing what I can. We're trying to fix downtown, make downtown more attractive. The last thing I want is someone sleeping on the stage at the art park, especially when our country affords us the resources to help people. And that's, it's a lot of times it's just hard to help. And that's, what the last year focused on that has shown me that there are just some people that do not want help. A lot of times pity is what they're looking for. And that's, something that I try to get people in and get them to resources and
That's all you
get
can
things
do.
done.
That's all you can
I'm
do.
trying. So I just want people to know too, it's top of mind for me and I've been working on it.
We currently have one homeless shelter in town, is that right?
There are a couple, and then there's like a domestic violence shelter too.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times they're just put up in hotel rooms, but that's
Okay.
just a small, that's not a permanent fix. So
Right.
a lot of times if you move person from one location to the next location, and that's, that's the most difficult part is if you move them from here, they're just gonna move over here. You tell them where to go to get help. You can even drive them there and things
Yeah.
still don't happen.
Yeah.
So it's
Same
just,
problem at Lake Park.
yeah,
I mean, they build actual little tents and it's
Yeah.
hard to.
yeah,
If,
it's,
This was an issue a few years ago at the art park. And I think the art park, or the Pomerene Center finally gave permission for the sheriff's department, for the sheriff to move in there and because it's literally private property.
right.
And
It's
they
owned
had to
by
have
Pomerantz,
permission
yeah.
from the board to move in there and, the sheriff, a deputy to go through and say, you have to move, you have to move.
That's
And-
what I've requested signs be put up just to try to combat the loitering. And that's, there's one individual that has been trespassed from there. So, to me, it's not that I wish ill on anyone. It's, there are resources here for people to truly get better. Usually it just goes hand in hand with mental or drug addiction. So there's usually typically more than one issue, and then we have the resources here and I have the connection. So if anyone needs help, call me.
Where can we just call you? Because I looked up homeless shelters last week and I saw one. with the
Right.
phone number.
And-
But if I wanted to offer help to somebody, to tell them where to go or who to call,
I think.
that I was a little bit unclear as I was doing my
No
searching.
HOCO is a good resource.
Okay,
I think the best resource where to go would probably be the sheriff's office. I don't know,
yeah,
because they have all the contact info, I think that's the best place to go.
okay,
But there are, actually, there's a homeless coalition getting started.
there is,
There is, NoHoCo actually has a building and needs more funding to complete that. I'm meeting with them, I believe, this week. And just, the resources are there. It's just, there are steps. The homeless gentleman I talked to, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. But if you're living outside, like,
yeah.
the hoops aren't as bad as living out in the cold.
Will the homeless coalition, do you know if they'll like help them? So you go to a homeless shelter, but is there anything in place to help get them back into working, helping
Well,
them
that's
find homes?
the
helping them-
program, NoHoCo is,
That's what they do.
that's what they want to do, is like a work program. And once again, that's not a permanent solution.
Right,
They do help people with employment, and just getting them, but most of the time, though, there's some other barrier as to why they're homeless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, the resources, and that's something that I've seen, is getting different organizations working together. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of competition for like organizations, and to me, there's no competition involved in fixing the problem. It's everyone working together hand in hand, or this person has this specialty, this person has this specialty, working together to help fix an issue. So and I think that's more and more happening, but it needs to happen more and
Yeah.
more and better. So that's really where I think we're gonna see more of that. Intel is a great thing, but it's going to get more expensive to live in the city. So what do you think's gonna happen? We're going to inherit some of the city's problems because it's gonna push out, and being affordable here, it's going to help that situation. So we might as well face it now while it's not huge. I would say there's probably 30 homeless right now, and there's more and more coming in every day. So it's just something that we need to get a hold of now, because it's not getting any worse, or it's not getting any better. If anyone has questions, I have Google.
Max?
I pretty much covered everything. We are out, we're planning getting some asphalt now, so patching potholes. Cemetery, trying to get them in good shape for Memorial Day. New water lines working well out South Lawn. We're actually cleaning catch basins. Everybody's probably seen us flushing fire hydrants right now, so we've got to gain some on that, letting them flush longer. And so we'll get good clean outs for water lines. They drive and the chief work together on. Fixing water holes that we've had sent in now since we got blacktop. We held our kickoff meeting last week with OHM, who's our procured planner for the Appalachian grant. That's the 500 million that the line set aside. So we'll be working closer with them coming up. Looking where we can partner with other counties. We need to partner with 3 or 4 additional counties that will give us the best chance of getting that money. I think the state's actually looking to fund 4 to 10 grants out of that money. Us by itself, just Coshocton County by ourselves, I had 38 identified projects that people can be talking about. So you think 500 million is a lot of money, but it's a lot of money, but when you're talking about $50 million projects, it doesn't go very far. So So we'll be meeting with them tomorrow. One thing I think I brought up to council probably about a month ago was the Nature Works grant. We've done a lot of work, Eric Oxley, who, they moved in here to town from Steubenville. He plays pickleball in the Pickleball Association, nice guy. He done a lot of free engineering, I guess, for lack of a better term. We love free. On the additional courts they want to construct out KA. So the plan was to install 6 additional courts up closer to the pavilion and 1 additional to the 3 that we have down there. Our grant money, what we was going to ask for was for the fencing to go around the 6 courts. But those 6 courts are going to have to be paid for, or going after donations, foundation money, as a group, as a nonprofit group. They're not going to be ready for that by the time we have to submit that grant. And so we're going to back up and use that, ask for the grant money to help fund the 1 additional court to the 3 we have existing. So we're looking around $33,000 to put that court in. That's with additional fencing, concrete, and everything, painting. And so that grant, I think, is for like 24.8. And the pickleball club has some money to put against it. They made it their last 24-hour tournament. And of course, we have some capital dollars in rec that we could use for that as well. So we just don't think we'll do good asking for a fence for something that doesn't exist at this time. So we can always flash money for the fence next year. So by the time they get their funding in place and everything, I'm thinking they're not going to be able to get those courts even built till late summer or late fall. So then you're going to want to allow them to dry before you go putting that coating on there. So yeah, so that's where we're at on that. Nature Works. That's all I have. Unless you guys have questions.
Any questions? Ready, Mark? Here they come. Okay. Kaylee, you had one for him?
Yeah, novelty and Bill Edmond on
Dude.
She already done that, I'm sure.
There today, actually.
Yeah.
Max, have you awarded the mowing contracts?
We have D&K
D&K?
for both the bridge and, you know, leasing people out that don't want to mow the grass.
Now, how will that work? Like if they have to go up there, you just call them and then they go?
Yeah, and they bill us and we'll bill them if they're at full rate. One place today we talked about besides those 2 is the old glove factory.
Yeah, is that, and when they do novelty, will they also do the field behind on the 12th Street, along 12th Street there? That was pretty bad.
They'll do whatever we.
That was bad last year. That's also got an abandoned vehicle and
Start
stuff.
the skids are,
Yeah,
or weeds in it.
yeah, but yeah, it's it goes around. Mark, I do appreciate between 13th and 12th Street, that one property.
They're working on it.
They're working on it.
They'll
I
get
appreciate
done.
it. I go by
Taking
there.
to court.
A little bit more going out every day, it seems like, but I appreciate you getting that done. That was
a mess.
a mess.
We had a big eviction up there on East Main too, that we had to take care of. It was all over the street for.
Have you looked at the one from, you're going west on Oak Avenue from 12th Street? Just look to the left, right behind that double or that duplex. Maybe, so it would be behind 12th Street
Yeah.
property there. That's,
There's about 4 properties.
yeah, that looks like almost the third bad.
That's where we was at today, on the farm.
Yes.
Okay.
We're trying to, they did make an effort on the corner. The backyard looks better.
They're working at it.
Yeah.
They got 2 more weeks and then I'll send them to Bob and
Well,
Judge and let them decide.
they got it on the end, back between the 13th and 12th.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're running a recycle yard out of that area.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? I mean, you done? Like, anything else?
We've sent out 40 letters. People are cleaning up the property.
Well, I'll tell you something. I've had a lot of feedback and people are appreciative of your work so far in your short time. They see things being done and they read those things on the sheriff's report, junk ordinance, cars towed. think
Yeah,
I get a lot of
I told him
positive
he's
feedback.
he's making the whole department look bad because he owns about half the sheriff's morning report.
A lot at the corner of, or house corner of Sixth and Locust, there's, looks like bags of cans or whatever.
I already got that.
Okay.
That's right there,
I noticed the business at the corner of Elm and Seventh is starting to add in more.
We talked
Junk
about that
vehicles.
today. It's like one day it looks good.
I know.
2 days
Exactly.
later,
Yeah,
it
you're
looks
right. It's
like,
like-
yeah, we
Looks like you're
actually
making
just-
headway and then
Yeah.
it's bang.
Yeah.
Cause didn't we talk about a fence down there for them?
He told me he was gonna put one up. He said he had one up. I don't ever remember seeing
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah, cause we
But he
talked
told me
about
he
a
was gonna
fence
put
there
one
at one
up.
time. for
I
that.
appreciate your efforts also.
Yeah, you're doing a fine job.
Anybody else have any properties?
I just wanna thank Tom. He sent me one this morning. And, you know, I can't be everywhere.
Mhm.
So if you guys are out riding around, you see something, call me, let me know.
I did have a resident on Fourth Street. Remember the issue in the alley between Fourth and Fifth or Third and Fourth? I can't remember.
Third and fourth.
He was real happy that got taken care of, so I said to pass that along.
Just hopefully people keep their yards
Working
clean.
at it.
Yep, that's all you can
That's all we
do.
ask.
Here to make the mirror and you guys all look good. You know.
No, you're not.
We're not either.
No, we're not.
Right.
You didn't read that email.
Old fossil.
Does anybody else have anything? Anybody back here? You guys have anything? Ms. Wallace?
I wanted to say something, but I'll wait till council.
Okay, okay. Nobody else has anything? I guess we'll meet up in council. Meeting's adjourned. So, I mean, he was.
Hold on a second.
the scheduled Coshocton City Council meeting. Call to order, clerk, please call the roll.
Easley here. Barcroft.
Here.
Rhodes.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Turner. Here.
I need a motion to excuse Councilman Jim Price, please.
I'll make a motion.
Call the roll, please.
Andrew. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
Please stand for the pledge, remain standing for the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible.
Heavenly Father, we again thank you for this opportunity to represent the city. Lord, we would, right now just lift, our colleague Jim Price to you as he stands with his brother John. We pray that you would, be with him during this, the very difficult time. And we pray just blessings on the family. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Council, your email the minutes from the April 10th council meeting. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Andrew? Turner? Call the roll, please.
Andrew. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Johnson. Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
Public input? You have public input? Yes, come up, state your name and address, please. Purpose for being here. Should be old habit.
Debbie Wallace, 1997 Hillcrest Drive. I just wanted to clarify something from the last meeting I was watching online for the first time. I've never done that before. But something was said about the tree commission coming out of Coshocton and Woodham. And the way it really happened was that in 2011, ODNR sent our urban forester for this region, came to city council and talked to us about starting an urban forestry program. And the first step of that was to send somebody to the Tree Academy, which the urban foresters teach at various locations around the state. I was the only person who volunteered to go, so I went, and it was 4 full days over a 4 months time. I went to Cambridge for that. And when I came back, the first thing to do was to write a tree ordinance. And so I researched a bunch of ordinances from other small towns and tried to keep it simple and short and I didn't think we needed anything complicated, but the main thing was that we had an ordinance that would protect the public trees that we have. And those are the trees in the tree lawns, cemeteries and parks. They're also, most people don't know, and it's kind of a technicality because we don't enforce the main part of the ordinance, so why would we enforce this? But the public trees actually are any trees in the right of way. So if the right of way on your street goes up into your yard and there's a tree there, that's actually a public tree, even though it's in your yard and you consider it your tree. We don't want to go there because it gets too complicated. They already think that the tree out in front of their house and the tree lawn is their tree. So that's kind of the background of how it all happened. It took 3 years to get a tree ordinance passed by council. Has to be a national record. We have yet to enforce any person cutting down or damaging a public tree. So I think over time, they can cut them down faster than we can plant them. And I think that's something we all need to think about. The tree commission, I think, needs your support. I know we all say, yes, we support, but do we really, when it comes down to supporting them, that when someone damages or cuts down a public tree, belongs to all of us, not to them, there are consequences. And the consequences in the ordinance are, it's a misdemeanor and triple damages on the appraised value of the tree based on the diameter of that tree. And that can be some money that could go into a fund in the city to help with the tree, to continue our tree program. Right now, the tree commissioners, the only money they have a checking account that we keep at Coshocton in Bloom, got about $500 in it. And we try, Coshocton and Bloom tries, if we've got some extra money and can give them some to buy trees with, we buy their Arbor Day tree and, but they have basically no money to continue a tree program. So I think that obviously it's important to me, but if we want to have a tree canopy in the future, other than at people's houses, then I think we need to support the tree commission in their work. Other cities, if someone hits a tree with their car, has an accident and hits a tree and damages it. Insurance companies pay for that. A lot of money. That money could come into the city to be part of the tree program. That's commonly done, but obviously we've never done that here. The only other thing real quick is that, and we talked about it at the tree commission meeting, the USDA forestry and community something has, out of the Inflation Reduction Act, has awarded one place I read it's $1 billion. Someplace else I read it's $1.5 billion, and someplace else I read it's $1.8 billion. So anyway, they just announced that 2 weeks ago. They're taking the applications now until June 1st. And in order to do that, you have to have something called a SAM, an SAM. We have SAM to say. A SAM number, right? And so generally the money for cities like us, although we could apply for money if we could come up with a project and spell it all out by June 1st, but otherwise the money's going to come through the urban forestry, the ODNR. The money's going to come through ODNR to us. And the good news, I guess, is that if you are a disadvantaged area, which on USDA's map for this project, the city of Coshocton is disadvantaged. Around us in the county is not, and on the western side of the county, it's all disadvantaged. So the city is disadvantaged and will not have to match any of those federal dollars. If you're not in a disadvantaged area, it's a one-to-one match. So we have a new urban forester. I can't remember his name right now, but I'm still dealing with Ann Bonner, who is down in Athens. She's not part of our region, but she filled in as our urban forester until they hired this new guy. But so the money that we will get, and we will surely get some, we just don't have any idea. How much it'll be, will come through ODNR. In addition to that, Davy Tree, which is the company that did our tree inventory way back in the beginning, Bill Freund and I went to Coshocton Foundation, and they gave us $25,000 to do the tree inventory back at the very beginning. And over the years, we renewed software for that, but then it came to a time where we didn't have the money to renew it. So our tree inventory, we don't have access to it. They shut us off until we can re-up that tree and the money to Davy to redo that, to bring the inventory back. But Baby Tree, I've been in contact with and asked me if we would like to be a partner in a program with them for this USDA money. And I don't know what that means, and I don't think they know what it means yet either, but there could be money for training, there could be money for inventory, there could be money for trees, there could be money for, there's 6 or 7 different things that they think could be, that they could receive, and then they could partner with cities like us, especially us, because we already have a program in progress.
So is the tree commission working on applying for this money?
We don't apply for it, well, unless the city's gonna apply.
I forwarded, Deb actually sent me the email for the information. I sent it off to SPP to research for what we need to do.
I mean, it has to be done so quickly that I think our money's gonna come through ODNR. And possibly if we could get any kind of a partnership that,
Right.
where Davy would get the money and then they would partner with us because they know we already have an inventory. We're like, plus Ann Bonner knows that we're thinking about or working on a revitalization of the downtown. She came to the meetings that we had. She knows that we're gonna need trees and planting for all of that. So we are definitely in a great spot.
I agree with the mayor as far as, I read through the tree ordinance myself, and I think it does need revamped a little bit, some things added to help out that, well, such as the, with the tree commission. So I think it's a little more organized and a little more clear as to what is the public trees and what aren't public trees. You know, like you said, going up into the property line, you know, I just, my own opinion right now is, I don't think people should come on my property and tell me if a tree is good or not.
Well,
But if it's in a tree lawn or
Well, yeah.
in the,
we're just talking
yeah,
about the tree lawn,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand all that.
right?
And,
That's one aspect of somebody coming into your yard because you have a tree that's in the right of way.
right,
That we don't want to go there. But if you looked at Cambridge, look down Cambridge Road and, you know,
we need to wrap this up.
every tree is bad. You wanted to keep a tree canopy on Cambridge Road, you could, with the permission of the homeowner, you could plant trees behind the sidewalk in the right of way, which would still, when they grow up, be a tree canopy. So, thank you.
Thank
Go
you.
home and watch the Guardians.
Thanks, Deb.
Anybody else with public input? Nothing added. Mayor, anything to read?
I'm gonna make it real quick, and meeting with the tree commission, we'll figure the ordinance out, and I will, talk more with the tree commission, but I like trees, I agree, they're nice, and one thing I told the tree commission is, it's great to get money to plant trees, we have a situation where we need a bunch of trees removed, before we can plant trees, so the one question I had was how many illegal trees do we remove a year? And the answer I got was 1 or 2. So to say that everyone's just cutting down trees, it's clear cutting. The sky's falling, it's not. When one's cut down, we should plant another one. They're beautiful, I agree. The problem becomes funding and how to manage that. So, you know, hopefully we can get some money from this USDA program. Like I said, SPP, I'll dig into that a little more, follow up with SPP and see where we're at. Leaving that subject, I wanted to bring up Cadence Watson. She is a 3rd grader at Coshocton Elementary School, and she won the national hoop shoot. So that makes 2 national champions in Coshocton, one being Colton Conkle, who is now, I believe, a sophomore at Coshocton High School, who won back in 2017. And Cadence, it's kind of cool. We have a male and a female, and they both won, I believe, in the 8 to 9 year old divisions. And super proud of Cadence, and also super proud of Colton. Love to watch him play basketball. So
hopefully someday Cadence is as exciting to watch as Colton is today, but just super cool that's, you know, we have that in our community and just want to give special recognition to Cadence and know, you know, if I had that many people watching me shoot foul shots, I probably would make one anyways, and that if people are watching, so it's awesome. Just want to congratulate them, and you brought up a good point. The parks look beautiful. Our parks guys really take pride in what they do, and just want to, you know, send a special thanks out to them as well.
That's Cadence made, I think, 24 out of 25,
Yeah.
and this was her last one. They made 24, right?
Awesome.
Great job.
Max?
I don't have anything to add, like, President. Thank you.
Bob, you have anything?
Well, while Debbie's here, I was just gonna say that my office has never been contacted once regarding a cutting down of a tree or a vehicle damaging a tree in order to get the insurance proceeds. So I am willing to do all those things. If somebody from the tree commission or the city knows of those happening, come to me and then I'll look at it. But I can't do something that I don't know.
Just don't know anything. Thank you. Did we know? Counselor emailed the sheriff, city shift assignments. It's got all those. Mark, you have anything to add from committee?
No, other than, you know, you guys,
I know you have enemies, but I think you have a lot more friendly people, so.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're doing. So,
sure couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah.
You wanted me to.
Yeah.
I'd just like to add that, you know, if you folks see anything out there, it's not right. You can't get a hold of me, call the mayor or Max, and they'll see that I get the message.
appreciate it. Dave, you have anything?
Nothing to add unless there's questions.
Okay. Chief Dreher's not here. Let's see. Okay, we'll go into legislation. Okay. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance. Yeah, 2023.
An ordinance to amend chapter 917 street excavations and curb cuts.
For the first reading of ordinance 2023, any questions or comments? 2023 will run its course. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 2123.
An ordinance authorizing the service director to prepare specifications, advertise for bids, and let contracts for repairs to brick sidewalks across the village.
For the first reading of ordinance 2123, any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules, go to third reading.
Johnson? Call the roll, please.
Andrews? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Gross?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Turner? Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 2123.
An ordinance authorizing the service director to prepare specifications, advertise for bids, and let contracts for repairs to brick sidewalks across the village.
Okay, so the question is, should ordinance 2123 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Gross?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Turner? Yes.
Ordinance 2123 is passed. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 2223.
An ordinance authorizing the variance of property located at 211 West Street, Coshocton, Ohio.
For the first reading of ordinance 2223. Make a motion to suspend the rules and go to the third reading. Johnson, second. Barcroft, call the roll, please.
Andrews? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Gross?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Turner?
Yes.
To the third reading of ordinance 2223.
An ordinance authorizing the variance of property located at 211 West Street, Coshocton, Ohio.
Question is, should ordinance 2223 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Gross?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Turner?
Yes.
Ordinance 2223 is passed. Clerk, please give the first reading of ordinance 2323.
City of Coshocton, Ohio, City of Coshocton, Warsaw Waterline Extension Project Design and Construction Project, Coshocton County, Ohio.
For the first reading of ordinance 2323, any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules and go direct to the third reading.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 2323.
City of Coshocton, Ohio, City of Coshocton, Warsaw Waterline Extension Project, Design and Construction Project, Coshocton County, Ohio.
Question is, should ordinance 2323 pass? Call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
2323 is passed. Legislation of third reading. Ask the clerk to give a third reading of ordinance 1823.
An ordinance establishing the position of part-time income tax administrator at said hourly rate.
For the third reading of ordinance 1823, question is, should ordinance 1823 pass? Call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Ordinance 1823 is passed. Old business, new business, communications.
We got a thank you letter from the Coshocton County Band thanking us for their $2,500 donation.
Clerk, what's the date and time of our next meeting?
May 8th, 7 o'clock.
Committee meeting will begin at 5:45. I need a motion for meeting to be adjourned.
So moved.
Moore. Second. Johnson, call the roll, please.
Andrews.
Yes.
Barcroft. Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.